Hey everyone, it's me, Jax, aka Chris, aka the Spin Dash, and you're listening to a surprise Saturday episode of Sega Sonic Radio. You might be wondering, hey, Jax, why Saturday? Why Sega Sonic? Why anything that is happening right now? Well, so I've been helping grab footage for the Sonic Music Spectacular, which is it is a big, very long, intensive community music request event. It's basically Sega Sonic Radio, but it's kind of Sega Sonic Radio, but on a much larger scale. Managed primarily by a bunch of people, but I believe spearheaded by our forum moderator Ryan, with its own little staff there. Is dealing with some tech issues. It was dealing with enough tech issues that it had to be delayed a week. So I'm exhausted because I was trying to get as much footage as I reasonably could, and seeing that if they needed me to handle the YouTube stuff. So I was probably up till 4 a.m. last night, which was an experience. But when the decision was made, it's like, hey, we need to delay this. Then it was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna leave you guys without music for a week. You'll get a lot of music next week. It's gonna be on our YouTube channel, but it won't be on Twitch. But there's gonna be music. It's gonna be something in the realm of like 16 hours across 2 days, about 8 hours each day. So go check it out, sonicstadium.org. We have posts on there to let you know, hey, this is where the information is. Should be nuts. Should have like hey, a lot of the footage that you're gonna see, maybe not as much on the first day, but certainly a lot on the second day, is going to be a lot of the same footage that you've seen here on Sega Sonic Radio, that I have captured myself. So with that, let's go ahead and head up our first... Oh, our theme this week is Start Your Engines. So let's do some race stuff. Probably more non-Sonic, non-Sega than normal, but you know, it's all good. Anyway, here's some Sonic Heroes. Hey, all. Welcome back. I'm going to... Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Bitrate's bad, which, if you're watching the video, if you're watching the YouTube version in the future, that won't matter, because that's not... I don't directly upload the Twitch version to YouTube. I update the locally recorded version, which means highest quality available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it offline. I'm going to adjust my bitrate settings to jam them up a bit and see if that helps, because I can tell there's some issues with that bitrate. It's blocky and crunchy and not good. So I will go offline for just a smidge, and then jump back on. Give me a sec, and I'll be right back. No panicking! Maybe a little bit of panicking. You're allowed to panic for a little bit. If you're good, if you're very good, if you got all A's on your report cards, you can panic a little bit. Be back in a smidge. Could be back. Hey, we're back. Cool. Okay, there we go. All good. All good, all good. Like I said, hey, if you're watching a YouTube version, don't worry about it. That was a long enough break. Let's just go ahead to the next set of music. Hey, it's all racing. We've got some Sonic Riders, Zero Gravity. I played that. I learned how to play Zero Gravity for the first time to catch some footage. And my attitude is still, I take that back. I learned how to play all 3 of the Sonic Riders games, to get some footage, over the last week or so. And my takeaway is, I don't like any of them. I did not like them before. I still definitely do not like them. Including and especially Sonic Free Riders, even with the controller mod. I just don't like how any of those boards feel, but you know, it has some music to it. Music like this. Hey, welcome back. As I was dealing with things, it looks like bitrate has mostly leveled out. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm outputting it. I'm outputting at 6,000 kbps. That's about as much as I can do. It looks like I had a few drop frames, but hopefully nothing too bad. It seems to be averaging out. With that said, hey, why don't I actually give you a sense of what we were listening to? That was kicking it off with Roulette Road at the very beginning, followed up by Quick Race from Sonic Heroes, Magical Sound Shower Euro Remix from for Sega Superstars Tennis, Chasing Drive from Sonic Adventure 2, and then in the last trio, it was Gadget Round from Sonic Rider Zero Gravity, followed up by Paper Engine from F-Zero GX and AX, wrapping it up with Stardust Speedway B-Mix from Sonic the Hedgehog CD, Japanese version. I think we got a quiz. We could do a quiz. Quiz is good. Quiz is good. Okay, tell me who tends to run the Diaz's socials so I can give a nice greeting. I'm pretty sure that I am like 90% sure that was Knuckles. It might have been Dread, but it was probably Knuckles. Probably. Anyhow, we all kind of share running it, but I don't have an early access copy of the game, so none of it's me. I paid $90 for getting it in like a day or two. So, yeah. Anyhow, we're going to hide chat. Jump over to the Quizone. Quizone, as always, is trivia. If you want trivia, you know, trivia is good. If you want to have trivia without spoilers, you can hide chat. If you want to guess in chat, you can also guess in chat. I'm not your dad. Here's the question. Sonic Rivals 1 and 2 have multiple character skins, including several goofy ones. In both games, Knuckles has a skin that dresses him like what other Sonic character? This is both Rivals 1 and 2. What skins he got? That's another Sonic character. Get your guesses in, and in the meantime, here's some Sonic Rivals 2. Hey, we're back. That was Chaotic Inferno Act 2 from Sonic Rivals 2. Once again, question is, Sonic Rivals 1 and 2 have multiple character skins, including several goofy ones. Knuckles has one in both. That looks like another Sonic character. Which one is it? And as chat, especially Sonic Trainer, brought up almost immediately, he has one that looks like Dr. Eggman. Other characters have some pretty wild ones. Shadow gets a 1970s leisure suit, and both Silver gets a Santa suit. Any of the ones that originally appeared in Sonic Rivals 1 reappear in Sonic Rivals 2 with, you know, slight modifications and such. Yeah, Sonic, as Kebuki brings up, the Sonic gets a cheetah suit as well, specifically in Rivals 2. And then, I believe Tails gets a tiger suit in kind, so... Strange sets. That was your trivia for the first of the show. We're gonna jump over to some Sonic Adventure. So enjoy, and hey, we might have some leisure suits coming up in this segment as well. Let's take a listen. See you guys on the other side. Hey, welcome back. That was Twinkle Cart from Sonic Adventure, as noted. That yeah, it's a remix of Panic Puppet Zone from Sonic 3D Blast on Genesis, followed up by Ignite Your Spirit from Yakuza 0, best known as the theme that plays during the slot car races, the pocket card whatever things in Yakuza 0. Wrapping it up with rival Big Bullet Bill from Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. But yeah, chat going on, discussion going on in chat, and it's rather topical. There's like 3 games coming out on the same day this week, and it's absolutely nuts because it's 3 games that, boy, I wish I could get all 3, but I had the money to maybe get 2 of them, and one of them is on an obligation to the site. Yeah, we've got Sonic, we've got Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Pac-Man World 2 Repacked, and Hades 2's 1.0 release, all happening like the same day, or like 1 or 2 days within each other. I think it's the same day, but oh boy, it's so much happening at the same time. You can hey, we've got our review up on the site of Sonic Racing Cross Worlds if you want to check it out. Dread was very positive about it. Very positive, and a lot of other reviewers, ones that did, that do have the early review, also very positive about it. And with that, like, hey, you can also check out our YouTube. That, like, Knuckles is putting up video after video after video. He's putting stuff up on our socials. If you want to see some rival interactions, boy, is there a bunch of them. But we also have a bunch of Team Sonic Racing tracks, such as this one right now. So enjoy this trio of tracks, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Hey, welcome back. That was Sky Road from Team Sonic Racing, followed up by Ground, BGM ska version of Mario Kart World, specifically a remix of Super Mario World. Wrapping it up with Monkey Race from the original Super Monkey Ball. Hope you're enjoying that. It's been weird with... So at the best of times, Sonic fans are proactive in wanting people to know exactly how much they like the things that they like. And if you're wondering if that sounds sarcastic, it's because it is. Yeah, there's been at least 3 very public, fights, I guess you would say, that Sonic fans have tried to start in regard to other games and which of the other games are or are not better than the Sonic games. Most recently, there was... And Sega is apparently encouraging this as of recent, in regard to their latest commercial. The one that evokes the one that evokes the old classic Sega commercial where they try to make direct comparisons to Mario Kart World. It rubs me the wrong way in a lot of ways. Part of it is because that original commercial was built on a lie that Sega was telling. Technically, Sega Genesis can do blast processing. Blast processing isn't anything that they were showing in that commercial. In fact, blast processing is something that no commercial game that Sega released actually did. It's a lot of absolute marketing BS. And... to be honest, everything I've played about, I am not in absolute love with Mario Kart World. Like, it has its flaws. But I'm gonna sit here and tell you, like, I think I had a better experience with it than I did with, any of the demo or network test stuff with Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I am certain if you have strong feelings about the way that Mario Kart World structures its races, then I'm sure Sonic Racing Cross World will probably speak to that. But I still very much feel like that Super Mario or Mario Kart World still has better handling than Cross Worlds. Cross Worlds has improved, but it hasn't improved completely from its original stuff. I just look at this and think, like, guys, calm down, please. Please calm down. Please don't evoke the mascot fight that you can't win. Please stop trying to pick a fight with, Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact seems like a perfectly cromulent game. I'm glad you like Sonic Frontiers or Sonic whatever, Sonic Generations plus Shadow expansion, whatever. But this makes you look bad. It makes you look petty and thin-skinned as a collective. And, you know, as someone who desperately tries to juggle, both being a responsible, mature adult and also being a Sonic fan, I feel like these two things are out of whack. Please be mature. I understand that for some of you it's like, joke, fun time, get it, because classic Sega, and I look at it and just think, but it's also incredibly cynical as well. Do we really want to be that cynical about it? Do we really feel like we need people to be aware of how much we like a thing that we like. I don't know. I don't. I like what I like, and I don't care if other people like it or not, personally. I don't need to vote for it to be the best of things, or to tell Nintendo, oh, you gotta go to the thing. Your racing game is not our racing game. It's like, yeah, of course it isn't. Their racing game sells tens of millions of copies. That's the difference. I applaud Nintendo for trying something a little bit different. I don't think it completely sticks the landing. I applaud Sega for trying something rather different. I also don't think it completely sticks the landing, but you know, I will have both, and I will play both. With that, I think it's time for a quiz. It's an audio cue. I'm not sure I expect you guys to get this one. But let's give it a shot. Hey, it's a Sega-developed arcade game. You will be surprised to find out it technically has released in Japan and America and Europe. Maybe that's an extra clue, but here you go. That's a nice and short one. So, once again, what Sega-developed arcade game is this song from? Maybe you saw it briefly flash on screen, but at the moment, it's, yeah. No, it's not Bug 2. This was Initial D Arcade Stage. Specifically, Stage Select. So, there is the somewhat interesting connection between Initial D specifically and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. This isn't to say it's the same Initial D that they've been touting as like, it's the Initial D team. No, this is a 2002 game that they released over multiple iterations, many of which actually did come to the US, which is kind of shocking. But yeah, it's based off the anime and or manga of the same name. Just a streetcar racing series with a very distinct art style. And I am it's not a game that I've played, but apparently this is one of the Naomi board games. They came out with a second version and then a third version in which they added a little bit more content with different characters and different scenarios. And yeah. Classic Sega arcade racing. Maybe not the ones that you remember most vividly, but they kept... This was Sega Rosso, I believe, was the developer specifically of this one, which I believe they went on to make other Sega racing games. Well, we got one more Initial D song for you before we leave that mindset. But then we also got some others. We got some Sonic racing. We got some we got some topical racing, we'll call it. Some topical racing. Maybe it's Crossworlds related. Maybe all three of these are vaguely Crossworlds related in their own special way. Anyhow, here's some initial D. This is Mako and Sayuki. Hey, welcome back. That was Mako and Sayuki from Initial D Arcade Stage, followed up by Frozen Forest from Sonic Free Riders, wrapping it up with Over the Top from Mega Man Battle and Chase. Of course, Mega Man's significant because it looks like Mega Man's gonna be the final crossover character in the what's it called, the season pass. We're already getting leaks out. Early copies of the game include a little flyer that just outright say it. Not quite perfect marketing alignment from Sega over here. But at the same time, even so, even if it's out whenever they say it is, it's probably not hitting until, like, next year. Like, we already know, it sounds like the months are going to probably alternate or put out one thing a month. It's weird. It's hard to say. But even then, like, despite the fact that they were very quick to lose the thread on the actual season pass itself, there's still a reasonable clamp down on the Sega crossover characters that will be free to the game. The fact that, like, hey, we know the 3 that they initially announced. We know Knights, because Knights is in some of their marketing, but there's still quite a few we don't know. And a lot of speculation to be had on what those could be and what Sega sees as, like, these are the brands we want to put out there as either legacy or to promote in terms of, like, what's big right now. Yeah, Knights is on the back of the box, so it's kind of surprising. I would imagine Knights would be fast-tracked before the other ones if they are advertising it in that way. But no, we know that Like a Dragon's in there with Ichiban. We know Hatsune Miku because they've been doing all the Hatsune Miku cross-collaboration. We know Persona because Persona is, like, I don't know, probably their biggest franchise right after Sonic. Unless, like, no, I feel pretty comfortable saying that. It's probably their biggest franchise right after Sonic. So, yeah. I don't know. Like, Mega Man seems like a good choice. I really like classic Mega Man. I am curious what they will have alongside Mega Man, because a lot of these crossover stuff have had more than one thing in it. Like, Minecraft comes with several characters. Pac-Man comes with Pac-Man and the Ghosts and a stage with it. Oh, that's maybe the thing that I am most interested in, is seeing whatever the Mega Man stage will be, what the Mega Man track will be. That's something that gets me real excited. Yeah, they could have Roll. Roll seems like a reasonable option for there. Or Proto Man. They could go for the different iterations of Mega Man. You got your X, you got your I don't know, maybe EXE. You got your Legends. It's different. There's options there. Can't quite fully skin the other Robot Masters as each other in the way that you could the Ghosts from Pac-Man. That's a little more involved than I think a skin would permit. I'm just thinking of, like, you get Gutsman there, and then suddenly you got a skin for Gutsman, and it's Quickman. I was like, wait, what? That's not a skin. That's a completely fresh new model. Other work has to be put into that with unique animations because you can't have those two characters and their individual proportions share similar animations. It's too crazy. Too crazy. Maybe just put Mega Man ghosts. You reskin all the Pac-Man ghosts as Mega Man characters. You give them hats. This is the Pac-Man ghost, but with a Guts Man hat. This is the Pac-Man ghost, but with a Pharaoh Man hat. It's a perfect solution. The perfect solution. Speaking of the perfect solution, there's a lot of Sonic racing games that were on older systems that don't have very long music tracks, that have very short loops. So I crammed them all together. So here, enjoy. Here's 5 songs in a row, most of which are very short. See you guys on the other side. And when we get there, it'll be time for our last quiz of the evening. Enjoy. Hey, that was a bunch. Just kicking it off with Casino Night 2-player from Sonic 2, followed up by Hilltop from Sonic Drift 2, Spring Yard from Sonic Drift, Racing from Sonic Racing Kart, the Java game, and wrapping it up with Desert Palace from Sonic the Hedgehog 3. None of which are especially long, but, you know, put them together enough and it forms a segment. We also got a segment for ya known as the Triple Trouble. It's quiz time. And as always, you can guess in chat if you'd like. If you don't want to guess in chat, you certainly do not have to. In the Triple Trouble, I give you 4 things. 3 of them have something in common. 1 of them doesn't belong. You gotta tell me which one doesn't belong. I give you some sort of clue or topic that they fit into. Which one doesn't go? Your topic this time is Sonic Superstars, and your options are Metal Fang, Metal Tails, Metal Amy, and Metal Trip. Which one of those 4 does not belong? Let me know. Or don't. Let you know the answer after this. Hey, that was Battle Mode Race from Sonic Superstars, relevant to the question, which of these does not belong in Sonic Superstars? Metal Fang, Metal Tails, Metal Amy, and Metal Trip. And as chat was quite quick to point out, it is in fact Metal Fang. You can build your own multiplayer robot in the game, and there are metal versions of every one of the protagonists except... Well, of course, Fang is not a protagonist, but there is no Metal Fang skin. There is, in fact, a Metal Trip skin, which is surprising. There is a giant robot Fang, as many people in chat pointed out, that you do fight in the game. But whether or not he is Metal Fang or whatever, that's I don't know. I couldn't tell you. And as Sonic Trainer points out, there is also a Metal Knights. There's a couple other metal animal characters that you can get. Not like Sonic characters, just like animals. You can, like, make a robot animal out of various animal parts. There's the DLC where you can make SEGASonic from Sonic 2. This is all good. It's all good. You know what isn't good? Playing that multiplayer mode. It's not a particularly fun multiplayer mode, speaking personally. I don't think it's well balanced. I don't think it's particularly fun. I feel like it's a sub Mario Party mini game for all of them. Not a particularly good use of their dev time for that. Again, speaking personally. But much as you would build your own robot, we got some music about building a robot for ya over in Sonic Riders. Hope you enjoy this trio, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Hey, welcome back. That was Egg Factory from Sonic Riders, followed up by Checkered Knights from Kirby Air Ride. Wrapping it up with Carrier Zone Medley from Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Some solid, crud. I'm forgetting the name of that series, the Fighter Jet series. It's the Fighter Jet series. I don't remember the name of it. Knuckles will remember. I don't remember the Fighter Jet series name. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Afterburner, that's it. Afterburner, the one that they made the PS3 version of, that was Climax. Am I bad at this? Hey, I'm paid to know Sonic stuff. Afterburner isn't Sonic. It's not. Plus, I'm also not paid. If Dredd was going to fire me, he would have fired me for something else a long time ago at this point. Hey, I think we're just going to ride right into it because it's almost the end of the evening and I'm going to bed early tonight. I don't know how to define early, but early is not going to be 2 a.m. That's the best way I can define early right now. Let's go ahead. We got some racing that is maybe non-standard. Olympics are full of racing. This is racing with the boat. Here's Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. Enjoy. Hey, welcome back. That was Canoe from Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, followed up by Arctic Iceberg from Pac-Man World Rally, wrapping it up with Goal Rush from Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. Hey, thanks y'all for tuning in tonight. I know this weird impromptu show. As a heads up, because I was going to take a week off, that week off is now next week, so that I once again do not interfere with the Sonic musical spectacular. Cause yeah, I know you guys like your Sonic music, but it's gonna be a lot of Sonic music. I'm gonna let them do their thing. And it'll be good. It'll be fine. It'll be all right. It's good. And with that, I think it's about time, as always, my opinions are my own, but the show broadly is under the banner of Sonic Stadium over at sonicstadium.org, one of the internet's longest-running Sonic fan communities. We've got news coverage, we've got a review of Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, we've got plenty of videos going up all over our socials and our official YouTube. You can see it up top of screen. Well, no, that's my YouTube. That's the SEGA Sonic Radio YouTube. You can find the Sonic Stadium YouTube by just searching Sonic Stadium. Got so much going on. It may be a week off. It may be a week off of the show, but I can tell you it's not going to be a week off of me doing stuff, because I've got a whole new batch of footage that I can turn into clips. You want to hear what I'll be doing all next week? I've got so many other games that I have recorded new footage of for clips. I've got Sonic Rush Adventure. I'm just bringing up the thing right now. I've got Sonic Rush Adventure. I've got Knuckles Chaotix. I've got more Sonic 06. I've got more Sonic Frontiers. I've got Sonic Labyrinth. I've got both Rivals games and Team Sonic Racing. Plus, on top of all that, we're gonna have stuff for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Sage is going on right now, which means I've got Sage games to play and cover. And then, it's just, I've got other games that I've got to play as well. What is going on here? Why is everything all at once? It's not going to be a quiet week off for me, I can tell you that much. But with that said, I think it's about time to close things off, and, you figured, if you're listening to this, hey, it's a racing-focused Sonic episode. Why hasn't he played the song? Why hasn't he played the song? The one song about racing. The Sonic racing song. The music that you play whenever you do things about Sonic racing. That song. The song that you play. I'll tell you what, it's because I've been saving it. Because it's going to be our closing song. That's why. And with that, peace, everyone. I shall catch you guys in 2 weeks. There might be some other streams in the meantime. We'll find out. We'll figure things out. We're probably going to have a stream tomorrow, where Knuckles is going to talk about his experience with Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. So enjoy that. Catch you guys later. Anyhow, here's Super Sonic Racing.
Don't
Haven't played enough remixes this episode. Not enough remixes. Here's a remix. And then I'm going to bed. Peace, y'all.